Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the virtual college fair for all Alaskan students. A few housekeeping items before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see you or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at strivescan.com/Alaska. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website. I'd like to thank our presenters for being here, and I'm going to turn this over to them.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This is a different experience for all of us. I'm sure you guys as well. And I am really excited to give you guys some information on just the who, what, where, why, when, how of the college admissions process. So if you just give me 1 second, we're doing a little fancy footwork ourselves here, trying to get this all figured out. And we'll be off and running. I'm also working with my coworker, Catherine Pasqua. She will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to utilize that and we'll get to that when we are able. So here we are. Learn the who, what, where, why, when, and how of the college admissions and enrollment process. So today we will go over preparing for college and looking forward. Degree and college types, that can be kind of confusing as well. Beginning your college search, and of course, always wanting to find the right fit. Admissions requirements, and of course, cost and affordability. So as you continue through your junior year, it is really important to set the stage for your academic success because the momentum you build as you challenge yourself academically and personally will help you stand out to college admissions officers. And so this goes for juniors who are going to be moving into their senior year, seniors, of course, but also any adult learners or non-traditional students as well. Before you start looking at different colleges, this is information that'll definitely be applicable. But when you are in high school, there are some things that you would like to focus on. So you would like to, so AP classes, honors, college prep, and elective classes will demonstrate your willingness to challenge yourself academically and develop new skills and abilities. And while it's important to maintain a good GPA, a respectable GPA in difficult classes says more about your initiative and academic goals than a stellar GPA in an easy class. These courses will also help prepare you for college level courses and expectations. Taking the PSAT or the pre-SAT during your junior year can help give you an idea of where you are right now in regards to college preparation. The PSAT can assist you in identifying areas in need of additional improvement. You can even take it earlier, maybe your sophomore year. So know your GPA and work to maintain a good one. Your GPA indicates your academic performance to colleges. Some colleges may require a minimum GPA for admissions, but don't shy away from challenging classes to maintain straight A's due of a fear of a B in an advanced course. As I stated earlier, demonstrating your willingness to challenge yourself academically is really important. Participation in sports, academic clubs, activities outside the classroom is important for many reasons. They demonstrate your skills, capabilities, and knowledge in a variety of areas and show off the multi-dimensional you. Extracurriculars, such as community service and work experience, may also give you additional avenues for future scholarship opportunities, which of course we all know is really nice as well. So create your academic resume. This could sound really scary. You think resume, you think career, jobs, adulthood, but really your academic resume is going to start when you're in high school. And really it's simply a summary of your high school career. It gives you the opportunity to identify your accomplishments, detail activities and special skills, showcase your achievements, awards, honors, talk about leadership roles that you've held. This is a time for you to brag about you. Your academic resume may also help you prepare for college interviews or give you something to provide to teachers, counselors, or coaches when requesting letters of recommendation. And on that topic of letters of recommendation, make sure that you're reaching out to the people that you're going to want those from fairly early, because you're most likely not the only student who's going to be asking for those, and you'd like them to be well written. So get engaged. Get to know your college and career counselors. We love talking about this stuff. Reach out to us. Talk with us often and discuss careers of interest and paths necessary to enter those fields. Research the academic requirements and recommended majors to enter a career field. Does a career require or recommend an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, an apprenticeship, which is a combination of hands-on training and classroom work? This will give you an idea of what type of post-secondary education you may need to receive to the work in your chosen field, which for a lot of people is the end goal of going to a university, is making sure they get into the career field of their choice. It may also help you determine the academic area you will need to focus in to achieve your goal. So, gain experience by volunteering for activities and clubs related to your career interest. So if you're interested in maybe engineering and there's a robotics club at your high school, take advantage of that. If you're wanting to be a doctor or a nurse and there's a biology club, see if you can't get involved in there in that some way. Automotive club, if you would like to be a diesel mechanic. Create a portfolio that highlights your skills and talents. If you're an art student, include your artwork. Or if you have earned certificates of appreciation or awards, include those. Did you help rebuild an automotive diesel engine? Sounds amazing. Take before and after pictures and include that in your portfolio. So explore your options. There is a lot out there. Visit colleges of interest, and when you're able, I know it's a little challenging right now, take tours if possible. One of the great things about what we're doing virtually is that a lot of universities and colleges have really fortified their virtual tour experience. So if you're not able to go and visit those colleges, and we live in Alaska, it's not always cheap to fly to the lower 48 to look at other universities, take advantage of their virtual tour options. Prepare a list of questions to ask on campus visits. If you're anything like me, I get overwhelmed and then I forget, anything that I actually wanted to ask. So definitely have a list of the things that you would want to have the information on. Ask about aspects of the college and campus living that are important to you. If you can't take a tour, see if you can email or call an admissions counselor for the university and ask them your questions. When possible, talk to current students. Ask them what they like about their school. If there's anything that you should be prepared for, is it really wet there? Is the campus huge? Things like that. How big is the average class size? What campus life is like, and so on. And take time to compare colleges and research admissions deadlines and requirements. And this is a big one. There's going to be a lot of organization that can be involved with the college search. So try and keep track of all of this information, because dates will not be the same for every university. You may even need to begin writing your admissions essays or requesting letters of recommendation. Know that you are not going to know everything, and that is okay. College preparation involves a lot of information, so make the most of the resources available to you. Here are some websites that I think that you might find helpful as you go through the college search process. So ACT.org offers a variety of college prep tools, and you can utilize college search engines to get information on college, admissions requirements, financial aids, all those big questions. So, degree and college types. Undergraduate degrees. When I first went to university, I thought only bachelor's were undergraduate degrees, and that's not true. There are many different types of undergraduate degrees, well, at least two. So they can be distinguished by the credit hours and level of coursework that is required to complete a degree. Two types of undergraduate degrees, associates and bachelor's. The associates are often referred to as a 2-year degree because generally they take 2 years to complete. However, there are some factors that could take it could take it longer for you to complete your associates or even shorter. It just depends on the degree program, what you're comfortable with, and what is going on in your life at the time. Associate degrees may prepare students for a specific career, such as dental assisting, radiology, technology, diesel mechanics, and a variety of other career fields. Some may also transfer toward the completion of a bachelor's degree. So think about end goals. What do you want to do? A bachelor's degree is often referred to as a 4-year degree because generally it can take 4 years to complete. However, it may take longer than 4 years because of additional factors. For me personally, I was a 5-year bachelor's degree student because I had other things. I was working full time and I had some adult responsibilities. And so I wanted to make sure I was successful in my studies. And so I needed to take fewer credits at a time. A bachelor's degree prepares students for direct entry into the workforce and could also help you get into your graduate degree program. So if you want to go for your master's, you generally would need to have your bachelor's first. So this program type may also impact the total time spent on earning a degree if a program is a competitive entry program that requires specific prerequisites and a ranking application process. Some fields that may have this type of process are sometimes found in healthcare programs, such as nursing, dental hygiene, radiology technology. Competitive entry programs may impact 2- and 4-year completion timelines due to specific requirements and a ranking process. So college types. There are 2 primary types of colleges, public and private. So let's see here. So private colleges are going to be governed by non-governmental organizations whose funding relies on tuition and private donations. They may have higher tuition than public colleges. However, they may also offer a variety of scholarships as well. They tend to be smaller than public colleges, and they may have a more challenging admission requirement. Typically, they offer a limited number of degree programs and may have a specific academic focus, such as science and technology or an art and design college. Public colleges are similar to UAA, are going to be publicly funded and on average have a lower tuition than private colleges because funding is subsidized from the state. They can have sizes ranging from small to large, and some state schools can have more than 40,000 students. They may also be part of a larger university system similar to UAA and have various community campuses located throughout the state. All right, so the college search. So discovering what is out there. We'll take some time and you can, throughout this, and you're going to learn about your options. Here are some websites that could be informative for you as well. And there's a couple of college search engines that we have noted that you may want to take a look at. Many search engines have functions to search for specific amenities. So if there's a type of location that you're specifically interested in, generally you can filter that out. Degree programs, size, all the things that you want to take into consideration when you're going through the college search process to find the right fit for you. And when you are looking for, at different universities, you definitely want to take a look at accreditation. Institutional accreditation is a process that a college or university voluntarily goes through. The institution requests that an accreditation agency assess its programs, faculty, and student success rate to determine if these meet the standards for higher education. So when you are looking at different universities, you definitely want to make sure that they are going to be an accredited university. This also allows your credits to transfer from one accredited university to another accredited university. So here is a list of the accepted regional accreditors. All right, so finding the right fit. At UAA, we have what we call living learning communities, which are a dedicated residence hall floors for students with similar interests that live together and participate in programs that address their personal and academic needs. So this might be something that's really important to you when you're looking at the college process. Our first year residential experience program, we have university honors and UA scholars communities, Alaska Native Science and Engineering program, aviation community. So when you're looking at different colleges, you want to make sure that you're going to have access to students who might be studying a similar field as you. It sets you up for success because maybe you have a study buddy or definitely want to have interests in common and help you get out there and socialize as well. So comparing your options, definitely want to use a comparison worksheet or there's some of those websites that we have, we'll have those available as well as college search engines. So take a look at that if you think that that could be helpful for you. And then you want to make sure that you're also writing down the cost of each application for budgeting purposes. When you're considering different universities, you may have 100 that you're interested in, but a lot of these will come with application fees. And so it can get really expensive. You don't want to get scared off by that application fee because this is a big deal and it's really important. But also, you don't want to have to spend a ton of money if you don't have to. The ACT website has a spreadsheet for comparisons, but you can also create your own with the information that's important to you. Right, admissions requirements. So some applications are longer and more involved than others. Make sure you're giving yourself time to fill these out. You don't want to be frazzled. And so starting the process early is generally the best policy. It may be a good idea also to have your unofficial transcripts on hand. That way, you know the classes that you've taken, the grades that you've had, and where your strengths are. Some universities also offer application fee waivers, scholarships, and deferments. So take a look at that. And when you reach out to those college counselors, ask them if they have any application fee waivers. You could be pleasantly surprised. Also, different universities and colleges can have different testing requirements as well. So you want to consider that. Do you need to take your ACT? Do you need to take your SAT? What scores do you need to get into that college? Also, GPA, like we mentioned before, is one of the more major requirements that a lot of universities will look at. So essays, when do you need one? Not every university needs one. UAA does not require one, but some schools could even ask for more than one. Some schools may even ask just for a writing sample, and an idea would be to use an old class assignment that you're really proud of. Also, so you want to take into consider wait lists. So accept as soon as you can and communicate your enthusiasm to the admissions office if that's the school that you are interested in and you got on the wait list. But be aware of backup options, deadlines, and non-refundable deposits. Okay, costs and affordability. So, undergraduate tuition. Comparing tuition can be difficult when using a price calculator. Lower division courses are usually taken by freshmen and sophomore. Upper division courses are usually taken by juniors and seniors. They require a background in discipline, which is recognized through course prerequisites, junior or senior standing, competency requirements, or instructor permission. These courses demand well-developed writing skills, research capabilities, and or mastery of the tools and methods of the disciplines. But don't be scared when you hear all of that, because when you're in your lower division courses, that's when you're going to be learning how to be successful in your upper division courses. You'll have plenty of time to practice. Residency status can vary from university to university. Having residency status in the state where the school is located allows a student to be significantly charged a lower tuition rate. Some universities will not let you claim residency status if you began attending as a non-resident. UAA will allow you to claim residency and thus pay the lower in-state tuition rate after living full-time in Alaska for 2 years or by qualifying for the permanent fund dividend. If you leave the state that you have been living in to attend a university in another state or country, you could be or would be considered a non-resident, which generally results in a higher tuition rate. UAA participates in the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program, known fondly as WUI, which for UAA students for UAA allows students from participating states to pay in-state tuition and in-state and a half, rather than full out-of-state tuition. It saves you quite a bit of money. It works differently at different schools. Some only want proof of residency, while others treat it like a scholarship. Our requirements are that students be admitted to UAA and be a resident of a participating state, US territory, or freely associated states. The participating states include, of course, Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oregon, South Dakota, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. Additionally, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, and other US Pacific territories and freely associated states participate in WUI. This actually allows us to have quite a bit of diversity at our university as well, which we really enjoy. All right, so something you're going to see when you're looking at universities, especially after you've chosen your classes and you get a bill and you're going to see all these student fees and wondering what is going on. So student fees are going to be part of this. And so take advantage when you have all of these resources available to you at the university. Make sure you're aware of what all those resources are, because you're probably already paying for them. A mandatory fee is charged at UAA go towards many mandatory and safety services like student health and counseling, technology, and along with services that enrich the university experience, like student activities, the athletic sports complex. The athletic sports complex fee specifically exists to provide free or reduced admissions to students for home athletic events and to support sports team budgets and operations expenses. And if you're on campus at UAA, take advantage of all the great sports that we have. Go, when we're able to be back on campus, go check them out. It's a lot of fun to attend. Recreational and intramural sports fees support students' use of the sports complex, the pool, ice rink, fitness facilities, and gymnasium. Also supports intramural sports, including volleyball, basketball, indoor soccer, and others, as well, of course, the operation expenses. Student activity fees. This supports events at UAA such as campus kickoff, homecoming and winterfest, commuter student programs, the Student Union Gallery and Publicity Center, and free or reduced admissions to musical events, poetry, open mic, comedy shows, featured lectures, multicultural events, and other social programs. This is a wonderful part of the university experience, so take advantage of those. There's administrative fees that support things like e-learning and distance courses. And if you're going to be taking labs for your program, then it also will include lab fees, and that'll take care of some of the lab materials for those lab courses. There can also be special fees that support things like travel, equipment, facilities, and unexpected and unusual needs. Something that you definitely would like to avoid would be the late payment fees. Sometimes an additional fee will be assessed later on in the semester on all accounts still outstanding. So students who pay for or drop their courses prior to the published payment deadline generally will not have to pay the late fee. So if you pay on time, then you can avoid this. Additionally, some universities may drop a student from all their classes if tuition is not paid by the payment deadline. So housing, meals, and transportation. One of the wonderful things about on-campus housing is that there are no separate bills. When you're attending university, especially as a student who has never lived outside of the family home, can already have a steep learning curve. Attending class and keeping up with assignments can be a challenge of its own without having to add on the extra stress of a commute and bills and keeping track of, roommates and all of that on top of it. Living on campus can make life a lot easier. You don't need to worry about putting utilities in your name, tracking splitting bills with your roommates, waiting for them to pay their part, or make sure that you're paying your own bills on time. Many universities are foot friendly as well. You may not need a car. You can walk to the dining hall, gym, and classes. If the weather is bad or you just don't feel like walking, at UAA, you can take the campus shuttle. This will save you money in the long run. With a car, you're not only paying for gas, but also insurance and parking permits, mechanical upkeep, and that can be a lot for a college student on a college student budget. So consider the pros and cons of living on campus. Especially if you're a more traditional student, this is something that you'd want to consider. If you're a non-traditional student, then if you're living off campus, and having all these additional expenses might be necessary. So, general unaccounted for costs. So there are a couple of other different things that you're going to want to consider outside of tuition when you're looking at going to university. So you want to calculate the cost of attending university, but really it's more than just tuition, especially if you are considering attending a college out of state or at a location where you will not have the option of staying with family. You're going to need to think seriously about living costs. And even if you are staying with family, there are still many costs that can add up quickly that you will need to consider. When you are researching universities, be sure to look up the housing costs for the area as well as the utility costs. You could be paying a lot for AC or possibly heating. One way to generally save money is to live on campus in the university's residence halls and apartments, since utilities are generally rolled into the cost of housing. Something else to consider, since we live in this wonderful, lovely, faraway state, is flying back home to Alaska if you choose to go to university outside of home. And that can be expensive, especially when you're looking at coming back home during your winter break or your summer break, which are going to be peak travel times. Also want to take into account how far you will need to travel to reach an airport, and the potential expense of taking a bus, taxi, Lyft, Uber, or bumming a ride from a friend for gas money. Being awarded scholarships is a great way to help pay for college, but scholarships generally have requirements for students to maintain in order to keep them. So we want to consider what's the minimum GPA that you will have to maintain? How many credit hours are required per semester? What happens if you lose a scholarship? Will you be able to pay out-of-state tuition? So consider the costs when making your class schedule for the semester as well. Be aware of your course load. If you end up having to drop or fail a class, how will that impact your scholarship and GPA? You may have to retake a class, which takes more time, takes more money. Was a class you drop or failed a prerequisite for another course you need to take? How will that affect your next semester? So here's kind of a cost comparison, things that you're going to want to consider. And that's an example of the UAA tuition costs. So as you can see, our resident tuition is significantly less than our non-resident tuition. But that WUI tuition that I talked about is kind of right in the middle of all of that. And the cost stated here is for tuition, does not include those living expenses that we talked about previously. So affordability, financial aid. So you want to think about the free application for federal student aid. Make sure you fill it out. If you are a senior, it's October, you can go ahead and get that done. Start looking now at different scholarship opportunities that are out there. There are institutional scholarships at UAA. There are state scholarships that the state of Alaska provides, and other businesses around our state. But also there are national scholarships. Don't be afraid to apply for those. Do a little bit of research. It could really work out for you in the long run. And you also look for other forms of financial aid, from grants from the government and even a federal work study. So college ready. Stay the course. Continue to focus on academic success. I know it can feel really overwhelming right now getting all of this information, but stay the course, stay focused on it, and maintain your extracurricular presence. It's a little challenging right now with the times that we are in, but do what you can, because that will make an impact if you're going to go to the university or go to a university outside of Alaska, especially. And now's a great time to start requesting and collecting letters of recommendation from your teachers, counselors, coaches, and supervisors. If you're working, that's another great resource for a letter of recommendation as well. It does not have to come from your school. And begin the application process. Complete your college application early. You're going to have a lot to do. This is something that generally isn't one of the more difficult things to do. So go ahead and get that started. Apply for financial aid. Complete the FAFSA. Like I said, it's October, opened October 1st. So if you're going to be looking, if you're a senior, now is the time to get that done. Register for the tests that you will need to get into the universities that you're interested in. Hopefully you're already studying for those. And register for student orientation. We talked about those mandatory fees. This is a place where you will learn about everything that you're going to have access to and support at the universities that you're interested in. And a really important plug here is to check your email. When you fill out that application, make sure you're including an email that you're going to be checking. Also, make it professional. These the admissions counselors, you're going to be an adult. Funny emails can be great for friends and family, but you definitely want to have a professional email when you're applying to different universities. And here are some additional resources. The University of Alaska Career Coach is a great one. College navigation, know how to go. All of these are really great, but also your admissions counselors are a wonderful resource. Reach out to us. We want to talk with you. We are incredibly excited about higher education, and we want to talk to you about how we can best serve you into getting into higher education. So here are some upcoming events that we have. I'm really happy you guys were able to join us today. But our next upcoming event is Academic Preview Day. So if you are able, talk to your school counselors. They will have information on this as well. So you can go ahead and come to our website and sign up that way. And we hope that we will be able to see you there. And so that's our next one. And we also have a few other ones coming up. Also, if you would like a tour of UAA, we're doing virtual tours. All right, if you have any questions, let's see here. Catherine, I think that you have the chat. Is there anything that you see?
Erica, so one of the questions, if for individuals who are, I know it's a lot of information and a lot of verbiage and all those kind of things, I can relate definitely in taking notes. I'm a type of notes person where I write everything down. The recording will be available. It'll be available at strivescan.com/Alaska. Again, that's strivescan.com/Alaska. And Erica has her contact information up there as well. And if you are would like to meet with an admissions counselor or Erica or any one of us at the admissions office would be happy to help you from about the academic preview day or greeting gold visits or just speaking our options about college or type of degree programs. Let's see, I think we have one coming in here. Hold on for one moment, Erica, let me get that. Would you happen to know when is the ACT or SAT? And is it still available this year to seniors?
Yes, and so it's not just one. Catherine, do you know when that is? I'm not actually sure when the ACT or SAT are being offered.
I would check with the college board for those individuals who are looking to. I know in the spring they had changed some dates on when those are taken. One of the sites is actually UAA or with our testing center. So we can get you in touch with our testing center as well. But College Board, you can take a look on there to see if it's up, because I don't have the correct date. But definitely due to the COVID, they're figuring out ways how do we make it virtual. So that was one of the things, because unfortunately we can't do it in person.
Yeah, things are a little bit different this year than they generally are. We're all trying to pivot quickly. Are there any other questions that I can answer from you guys? All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know that this is a lot of information. I hope that you guys are able to enjoy the rest of the fair and get all your questions answered and all the different possibilities out there. It's pretty exciting. Oh, here's a couple more. Where will this recording be again?
It will be at strivescan.com/Alaska. I'll repeat it again, strivescan.com/Alaska. So strivescan, strivescan.com/ALASKA.
Oh, great. There we go.
Got it.
Okay, thank you again to our presenters, to Erica and to Catherine and to everyone for attending and joining us today. When you close the window, you'll get a quick survey. So if you would do that, we'll get some feedback for this. Again, we have more sessions to sign up, and then those recordings will be available again at that strivescan.com/Alaska. And thank you all so very much. Any questions that we did not get to in the Q&A will also come to us later, and we should have those from you guys in about a week. So look for us to follow up in a week to 10 days. All right. Thank you all. I'm going to end this meeting.